welcome back to the F1 Manager Viewer Championship. And today we're gonna be doing rounds 9 and 10, maybe another round, but I'm not quite sure. As you can see here, from the circuits we're entering the final stretch of the season, final 4 races. If we do 2 today, we'll get a nicely detailed Las Vegas and Sao Paulo race next time, which should be coming next Tuesday. So stay tuned for that, and I'm happy to have you all today for the penultimate episode of the championship. So we've got Baku and Losail today. So let's get into it. Anyway, sorry, I didn't even realize the huge gap to Baku. So yeah, I may as well just go for all this on stream. Like 35 days is a lot. So yeah, I have got chat here for anyone who may end up joining this. Yeah, just constant stuff going on in the background here. But yeah, once again, I do wonder, has anyone actually got upgrades yet? Like, I mean, has someone's driver rate went up yet? Because that's still yet to happen for any driver across the grid, except mine, for some reason. So you have to try to rush through all this. Sadly, we can't skip to a certain day or anything, so we have to go through all of this. All this boring stuff. If this was on the Switch, though, it would take ages, because it takes so long to even advance one regular day on the Switch. Like, yeah, it's cool having the F1 Manager on the Switch and stuff, but, like, it takes so long to go through things. And it's a shame the Switch 2 never got an upgrade, because, yeah. Like, I know F1 Manager on the Switch 2 has slightly upgraded visuals, but it's just natural because of the processing power of the Switch 2 being higher. So my chair is making a lot of sounds. I've had it for quite a while now. I'll have to get it replaced at some point. So here we go. The race weekend is coming up here. Okay, here we go. The race weekend. So skip through practice and qualifying as per usual. Just do the usual stuff, like we always have across the whole season. So we get straight into the racing.
Greetings from Azerbaijan, where we're back in the country's capital. We're back from the summer break with topped up tans.
We just ignore this. We go round 9 in Azerbaijan. Let's go to the race. So we simulate practice and we simulate qualifying. So we get to see the starting grid. Alright, here we go. So, the results. Got some interesting stuff in practice here. Of course, if you don't know already, Red Bull and RB are the top teams here. And for the starting grid, Taco Van Horn takes pole. Okay, that is good. That is good for Van Horn. Bogsarov has a penalty from last race converted over to this race, I think. That's why he's lost 3 places. So yeah, we've got Van Horn and pole from Nicholas Palomino, then Bastio, then it's Stevie Headley, Akari, Vinayak, your boy, Daniel Bogsarov, who would have started 5th without the penalty. We've got Jansen Olsen, Lam Fong, Mia Dragon Sonic, Arvid Silla, Dave Sarakiera, XO24, myself, Carlos Eduardo, Sebastian Campo, Avan Gorov, Ultra Bro, Dominic Benedetto, and Damian Castro. Okay, so that's an interesting starting grid for today. Van Horn is obviously on pole, that's good for him.
This is what you've been waiting for. It's the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
Okay, so yep, the race has begun. And I'm just going to retire my cars because they're not even needed here. So yeah, Van Horn got a lot of pressure on him because, yeah, he's currently 3rd in the standings. He can get up to 2nd today. I think 1st is also just possible. We need a lot of luck for that. Anyways, here we go. Off of the start. It's a very good start for Van Horn. Versio's also got a good start against his teammate Nicholas Palomino. Palomino is on the inside of Versio, who's looking to get ahead into the 2nd corner. The 2 Red Bulls side by side throughout that 2nd corner. Meanwhile, Van Horn continues to extend his lead out front to 1 second. Versio up into 1st. This is not good for Palomino. He will most certainly go down to 2nd. I mean, Palomino will certainly go down to 3rd in the standings. Lamfong just outside the points of Bogsarov, losing a place on the start to Jensen Olsen in the Aston Martin. The Salva going down the inside there, and the Aston Martin is overtaken by the Salva. And there we go, also down the inside again of Bogsarov. So yeah, this time around, Bogsarov does get to keep his position. He's not even under attack. Lamfong there, around the outside, the Alpine possibly, nope. It was a good attempt. It was a good attempt there. But, of course, you're not likely to make an overtake there. As we go through the castle section, somehow no Ferraris have crashed, which is an absolute miracle, to be honest. And yeah, now Palomino very clearly struggling today because he's lost a lot of time to his own teammate in Versio. Versio himself, though, continues to try and pull into the gap Van Horn has out in front. Of course, Versio, he is very much in contention for the title. He is leading the championship by a decent margin of points at the moment. And if he can just keep getting these good results, he has a chance to win this World Drivers' Championship early. Of course, Van Horn, he's had an awful start to the season, but ever since round 3, he's been doing really well in these races. And that has put him right in contention of this World Drivers' Championship. DRS is enabled. That's the message we get from Race Control. And as you can see that RB is struggling to maintain that advantage out in front. It's a 1 second gap now. Versio is closing it in. Stevie Headley is on Nicholas Palomino here in the Haas. The Haas goes down the inside. We go over the mechanical fault of his car. Palomino around the outside has more traction on the exit, and he's back ahead of the Haas car. The Haas dropping to P4. Now Headley will be soon under threat from your boy if he can close in on Headley. Because this RB is the one who was better at the start of the season that just fell off. Now, one thing I didn't check once again on the ratings, so let's have a look. So once again, no one has changed. Everyone's still at 70 overall. So for next season, I'm going to increase the development rate so we actually get some differences in the drivers. But yeah, Palomino now, he is starting to be ahead of a train here. Verstio finally catching up to Van Horn. It's took him a while because of dirt, yeah, but now he has finally got to a decent gap to Verstio into Van Horn, where he can get DRS, and it should hopefully be effective. Considering it's Baku and speeds get really high, I will imagine Verstio is going to be able to get ahead of Van Horn. There we go, shifting up the gear rate soon, I think there. There it is. The gear we don't really see that much there. Van Horn going to the outside to defend. Verstio sees through, he goes to the inside. And on the review of that Red Bull, we expect to see the RB very soon, but never mind, the two are still side by side. That battle's going to continue here into the second corner, where Verstio on the inside line is also going to get DRS, and he pulls straight ahead of the Red Bull. The Red Bull now leading this race from the RB, and this is perfect for the driver standings here. Theo Henley down the inside of Nicholas Palomino. There we go, the Haas getting ahead of the Red Bull. However, the Red Bull still will try and fight this one. He's going to go down the inside of Theo Henley now. The two still side by side. Akari with a mechanical fault there. Of course, McLaren once again suffering in the race here. Up into gear 4 towards gear 5. Palomino still goes to Henley. He should hopefully get DRS when it comes to the back straight. But yeah, luckily for Van Horn here today, he's managed to just keep in with Verstio here. And you can see he's already getting really close. We found the DRS. DRS, there we go. It is active. It's activated for the Dutchman, who's on the inside. Verstio can't defend that. The Brazilian drops down into second place, and Palomino, as that happens, moves up into third. However, Henley, he's had better traction. He's got more speed. The Haas back up into third position. Palomino tries to go down the inside. Henley covers him off. And once again, another battle here. Van Horn's still having DRS. He is going to try and get Verstio here into the fourth corner. He goes down the inside. The two Red Bull drivers side by side. Well, not Red Bull, but they're both in the Red Bull family. And in the end, it's Verstio who comes out on top. So yes, we're going to do our usual thing of fast forwarding just a little bit. Van Horn taking the lead there. Verstio getting back. Van Horn also just doing a switchback, I guess. But here we go. 2 tenths between the drivers as we head down this back straight. This is where the speeds get really high. Now looks like Van Horn is better in a straight line, but Slipstream plus DRS should do miracles for Verstio. Now is he going to try and go for the move? No, he's staying behind, he's waiting for DRS. Oh, heavy braking there, as there was almost contact there between the two drivers. The RB trying desperately to defend from the Red Bull. And yeah, you can very clearly see that acceleration top speed seem to be better for RB than Red Bull. Of course, Red Bull though, having slipstream abilities and DRS is obviously going to help. And once again, that is Van Horn back up ahead in the first position. As Sanzo, he will be up at second in the driver's standings, ahead of Palomino by 9 points, and he will be quite a distance from Verstio into the final 3 rounds of the season. As for the Constructors' Battle, right there, RB will gain 2 points in on Red Bull. However, Red Bull still got a very good lead out in front in the standings, so they are probably most likely to win this unless RB can be a little bit more consistent with their positions up in front. Now, Ricciardo's got another mechanical fault. His day has just went from bad to worse, and there we go, he's down into P10. Soon enough, he will be out the points, and there we go. That is the nail in the coffin for McLaren once again. Down at 12th, 13th, yeah, there's something seriously wrong with Akari. it's probably a power failure, to be honest. Like, he has not got any power at all down the straight. You can see that there. While Akari, you can expect him to lose another place very soon because Grigorov is on the back of him. Now, Akari has got DRS on Eduardo. This is good for the McLaren. He's going to go down the inside there of the Williams. The Williams keeps his position though, and Grigorov still trying to get moving. Oh, there we go. This is going to be about the lack of power. Grigorov managed to fly by there. There we go. He's sealed the move there. Axel 44. He's also going to be looking to get ahead of that McLaren of Akari. Now there go the Williams, sending it there down the inside, and up into 15th position goes the Williams. Okay, look at this battle here though. Your boy's just stuck on the back of it, but yeah, I don't think there's any way Palomino, Headley, the guys behind, are going to win unless Mercio or Van Horn crash. Well, and all. Like, look at this. Palomino is a whole 8.1 seconds off of Mercio in front. Like, that is very ridiculous. Anyway, my phone is about to die, and if it dies, I cannot read chat, so I'm gonna just charge it right now. Okay, phone is plugged in. We're all ready to go. But yeah, currently not much is really happening in this race. Fnatic now dropping to 6th. Akari now down at 19th. He started 7th, and there we go. He is now down in the last position in P20. Ultra and Castro seem to be swapping for positions at the moment. Oh wait, in the pits there comes many drivers. Verstio is one of them. He's going for the undercut here on tackle Van Horn. Now, how will his heart treat him here at Baku today? Now, luckily for him, he's just managed to avoid traffic, being David Cerquera and Blade Sonic, who are in their own fight. Now, Van Horn's tires are down on to 37%. We can expect him to come in very soon. Just when will this soon be? As we're onto the shoulder cam, it looks like it could be this lap here. As there we go, he's coming in. Van Horn entering the pits now. And what tyres will the RB team put the Dutchman onto? As we are just awaiting this pit stop. Tyres off and on go the hards. So it looks like it's going to be a one stop today. Now where's Mercio? He's stuck right behind Vinayak. Okay. And here we go, Van Horn coming out the pits. That hold up from Vinayak was enough to cost Mercio the chance of leading this race. And that has done absolute miracles here for RB. As now, Mercio trying to charge down the straight to get ahead of that Haas of Vinayak, who's holding him up. Mercio there, down the inside. It's Haas versus Red Bull. One has pit, the other has not. And there we go, Vinayak down the inside. He's still trying to defend the place. The two are very close to making contact. Almost wheel bumping, in fact. And there we go. Verstio now up into 4th position. And is right behind his rival this season of Tackle Van Horn. Now here we go, race leader, Theo Headley. He is pretty much going to be attacked by Van Horn in the coming laps if he does not come into the pits. His tyres are on 41%. Also behind has a 6% advantage on 47%. Both of them, though, being chased by Van Horn and Verstio, who've got their own business to do here today. As here we are, lap 15 out of 51. Also, it's very early on the race, but we are on a one-stop strategy today, I'd imagine, for these teams. And there we go, Verstio is quick. He's going to send it down into the first corner. The Red Bull trying his best to get ahead of the RB. Now it looks like Versio is going to be the one who has DRS. He sends it down the inside of Van Horn, and he's got DRS. This was the perfect time for a move, and he's got it. He's made the overtake there, and Van Horn is now down to third. As you can see there by that gap, Versio has pulled in a lot of Olsen. He has pulled away from Van Horn. I think the whole point of that lap was just push like mad and hope it paid off. There we go, side by side. Olsen and Versio almost. There we go, Olsen not coming in the pit lane. Versio, there we go. He is now officially the leader again in this Grand Prix. He set the fast lap of 148.724. And now Van Horn has got it all to do. His work's been cut out for him. Palomino has made up some time in that last lap there. Even up 2 seconds on Van Horn, who is struggling to get them hards into action. Fong sets a fast lap that race again in the 148. And the lack of race pace there by Van Horn is very clear. That Red Bull behind is a lot faster. Palomino, he was 8 seconds back earlier on, and now he's ahead. He's now ahead of the driver who's 8 seconds ahead of him earlier on. Just can't believe this. It's a very big lack of pace in the championship. This is a big turning point, I think. Here's the thing though, does Palomino get DRS here? No, he does not. No DRS for him. But someone who does have it is Van Horn, who's approaching him at an extremely fast pace. I think that was like, what, 301 kilometers per hour there. Van Horn there, threw up into second. Palomino will try to fight this one back. And look at that, the gap out in front, 6 seconds. 6, and the tyre difference, the tyre delta between Van Horn and Versio has remained at a constant. So it looks like Red Bull work really well off hard tyres. RB on the other hand do not. And as all of this happens, Versio in the end extends his championship lead. It's going to be extending to an extremely high number of points, which is going to be really risky towards the other teams who are going to be thinking how they can reduce this. Specifically RB. RB are the only ones really that can put a fight to Red Bull this season. And then we go Palomino versus Palomino and Van Horn. They're still fighting. We're on the 20th lap now. As we are entering lap 50, not 50, miles away. We're at lap 22 now. There we go. Van Horn up in a second. He is trying to pull out the gap from Palomino, which he does successfully. And for him, now it's just a game of waiting and waiting while he catches Versio, which he has seemed to be doing. Now Akari falling back a lot. It is definitely a power issue there down at McLaren. And there we go. Van Horn has been waiting ages for this moment. He has finally managed to catch up. And he's got a 5% tyre delta. I think that's actually increased from when the pit stop happened for both of them. There we go, DRS activated. Van Horn now in pursuit of Versio. Which one will win? I'm sure it's going to be one of these two. However, he can't say for sure. There we go, the RB getting close to the Red Bull. We're halfway through this race now. And here we go. Down the back straight, the fastest part of the track. The fastest part of the calendar sometimes. Now just when will Van Horn go for a move? Is he going to go to the left to make a move on the inside? Is he going to wait for turn 2? Well, it looks like he is. Turn 2 seems to be the better option for him. As there we go. Shifting through the gears. That Red Bull in front has pulled away and maintained the lead for so long. But now, finally, he's had to come back and bite the bullet because Van Horn is here. And he's striking fear into Versio. As there we go, going for a little move down the inside. It does not work. We'll have to wait for the next lap, I guess. Here we go. Headley getting a mechanical fault. That's not good for him. Your boy's up in 4th position actually, which is really good for him. There we go. You can see the DRS taking effect. And there we go. Down the inside. Clean move in the first corner. Vandoorne now leads this race once again. And still Versio unable to do anything about it. He can still try and make a move though, as he has got DRS on Vandoorne. Pulling over to the inside. Vandoorne is not going to fight it here. And there we go, into the 3rd corner. Them two still side by side, and Vandoorne just keeps the lead in this race. And yeah, Versio is getting by here. You can just tell from a mile off. Unless he wants to hold behind again. Possibly invite Palomino into the fight. Who knows? I said Versio's definitely getting ahead, but turns out he didn't want to make a move. Vandoorne is the one who's ahead now. Still. And here we go. Heading in towards the 3rd corner. The hot spot for overtaking here today. And down the inside. Versio trying to get ahead of Vandoorne, but once again, can't make the move. And there we go. All this has invited Palomino at the fight. This is bad for Vandoorne. He's just got to do something. He can't be defending too much like this. But Versio holding back like this is very clearly allowing Palomino to close in the gap. Headley coming in for a pit stop now. He is on softs. Them tires are getting old. Yeah, looks like that was actually his first stop. I mean, 2nd stop of the day, so he's already burned through plenty of tires. He's going hard to the end. These hards are doing pretty well compared to others. And there we go, Vandoorne, he has been overtaken. Versio's ahead. But there we go, the damage has been done. Palomino now into this fight. And there we go, he's got DRS. Vandoorne's got to make a move. He's got to do it sooner rather than later. But he just can't get it yet. Not yet. But he will be able to get it soon. So yeah, anyways, Vandoorne leads from Versio and Palomino, and this is the driver standings at the moment. This should probably be one of the best case scenarios for Vandoorne, because winning today will be really important for him. Now looking at the constructors, no changes in positions. However, RB will continue to gain some more points on Red Bull. Red Bull do not want that, and there we go, your boy now into the fight for this. 1.7 seconds separating the entire top 4 in Azerbaijan today. This is going to be a close race, I think. I can say that with confidence. This can be a close race. Will it be a close race? Well, it could be. So we're going to continue to fast forward just a little bit more. There you go, your boy. This is what RB have been waiting for. Your boy to make some places. I thought this was unlikely earlier, but it turns out it's not unlikely. Because your boy is currently trying to make this thing in RB 1-2. A 1-2 for RB would be absolutely sensational. I can't remember if RB have actually managed to do this yet. See, I don't think they have. Their one chance in Monza was blown with a 2-3. So yeah, I genuinely think this could be RB's first 1-2 of the season. And as all this fight goes on, Van Horn continues to extend his lead out in front of 2.8 seconds. And here we go, your boy trying to get ahead of us, Theo. Palomino's nowhere near, so he can't use his teammate. However, he can make his teammate get this fight, I guess. There we go, fast forward onto the straight here. This is another golden opportunity for your boy. This time he's going for the inside line. He's not going to give us up. He's still trying to send it. Can't get ahead yet. And now Palomino is just right there. Ultra, they're getting mechanical fault. And the car restage has been getting even worse. In fact, he's going to end up becoming traffic very soon. As they're going down the inside goes your boy. And he is not up in a second yet. Now, Curry managed to just missed the top 4 there, so that's good. He is now a whopping 51 seconds, though, back on the closest person to him. He is now officially lap switch. There we go. Your boy's up in a second. This is really good for RB at the moment. Now, he's just going to try and hold this, but it's going to be difficult because your boy versus Theo, both of them, into the pit lane. Versus Theo onto mediums, and it's also mediums here for your boy. And there we go. They came in and out their pit boxes perfectly there. The down box Sorov is also coming in the pits to get rid of his hard tires. He's going onto softs. Yeah, I think as far as doubt we can say, although one stop is possible, it's very unlikely and will pretty much kill your race. So now Van Horn and Palomino have got to think wisely on pitting. Should they pit later and have the chance at softs, or should they pit now and go into mediums by biting the bullet and facing the peer pressure? Well, if I was Van Horn, I would probably wait for softs, to be honest, because you can see he does a lot better on softs. We can tell you that from how the season went so far. He is a driver who prefers the soft tire. Lamfong is down in 12th position at the moment. However, he's right on the back of Avangorov and Ahmed Silla. Silla on 28% mediums. He is most certainly holding up Gorov and Fong. More specifically, Gorov. Because Fong's done the same amount of stops as Silla. Just had better tire life due to being on hards. And here we go, Gorov. He might try and go down the inside of Silla here. It would make sense, and there we go. He's through, up into 10th position. He's at the points, and Van Horn, never mind, he's in the pits. What is he coming in for? Versus Palomino is also in the pits. 15 laps to go, so soft is still a possibility. What are they thinking down there at RB? Well, those look like softs to me. No, the mediums. Okay. It was the rumors that caught me off guard, and Palomino on the soft. Okay, the softs are in contention. It's just Van Horn clearly thinks it would be better to go into mediums. And there we go. First year once again. His first position is cost by a person being slow. That has also cost your boy some time as well. Because your boy is right with first year. He was like in P2 in the pit stops. I mean, before the pit stops, so yeah. As I will let you watch this fight. Just 1 minute. Okay, I am back. So I wonder how that battle has went. Well, it's very clear. Van Horn is struggling a little bit to get his tyres up to temp. And we've now got a big battle out in front. Oh, Bloodhound Sonic, he's got a terminal failure. Terminal failure on the Ferrari. Honestly, that's like a surprise because it's Ferrari. Now, is he going to come into the pits to retire the car? Well, that line certainly looks like it. Pulling over to the inside, and no, he's staying out. Okay, it's very clearly one of those terminal failures which you can stay out for. His teammate Ultra up in 11th right now, Fong dropping down to 13th position there, which is unfortunate for him. And as for the lead this race, it is still somehow Van Horn leading the way. Because very clearly, he's not doing good at the start of the stints, but when it comes to the end of the stints, that's when he's been doing good. I guess we've just figured that one out ourselves. And there we go. Van Horn pulling away now because the constant fighting further back. And now that Versio's up at second, your boy's got to get up at the third. Otherwise, he's going to be nowhere this race. He's got to make a move. And he's got DRS there. Palomino, though, is right behind him. Shifting into gear 7. He should be getting ahead of Olsen here into the corner. Then we're down the inside of the Aston Martin. The Aston Martin continuing to defend that place. Now, there's a chance Olsen could be going to the end of this race. And that is why he's not pitting. That is 100% a possibility here today. And yeah, it looks like Bloodhound is really struggling with the terminal failure. He is not able to drive well with the failure, which is not even a surprise. And there we go, Akari letting Van Horn by, which is good for the McLaren, bad for the Red Bull of Versio, because there's no long straights coming up now. And considering how slow a car from McLaren is, there is a big chance that Versio could be getting held up horribly. X6.4, that fast lap of the day, and 1.4.618, I think that said. Where is Akari? Oh, looks like Akari managed to let Van Horn, Versio by without any serious issues, which is good. Your boy Palomino has lost 7.5 seconds, all because of Jensen Olsen. And there we go, Olsen overtaken by your boy, who's pulling away now. He's finally managed to pull away, breaking free from the Aston. And go Lampong into the pit lane. And he is coming in for a brand new set of medium compound tyres. Not a bad stop there. Ultra mechanical fault. Yeah, Ferrari suffering faults today. Surprised they have not even crashed the wall at all. Anyways, here we go, the Ferrari is approaching the Sauber front for the final points position. 10 laps to go now here in Baku, and this race is still in contention by many drivers. Also coming in the pits, he's in for softs for a final 10 lap push. Let's see what he can do, and can he make up lost time that he had lost just then before. Of course, he's got a pretty big tire delta to the guys ahead of him. And to start off, he needs to try and get ahead of Vinayak in the Haas, who's obviously going to start holding him up. Now, he should get ahead easily here on this back straight. Pulling over to the right, DRS should be active. Yes, it is. And there we go, 312 kilometers per hour there, maxing out down that back straight. And there we go. Also in the 7th, now he's just going to try and keep the position. That should be easy. And yep, he's through with DRS as well, which is going to further assist him in this race. But also, one thing I mentioned, Versio finally catching up to Van Horn. And as we're entering the final 8 laps, I think it is, I'm just taking wild guesses at this point. Versio now leads this race. Van Horn trying to put some pressure on, Now, Versio's worn out his tires quite a bit, as Van Horn now has a 7% advantage. Your boy in the third now. Of course, earlier on in this race, we had Versio and Van Horn side by side, and now we've got Palomino and your boy side by side. Okay, that's interesting. Whereas Versio has pulled out the gap that he needs to keep Van Horn away from DRS. However, Van Horn's better tyres will eventually come back to Horn Versio, I think. As there we go, the gap's starting to decrease a little bit overall. Your boy finally pulling away now from Nicholas Palomino. And for Jensen Olsen, he's not had the stint he would have hoped for. I mean, P5's still not off the cards yet. But it's safe to say, the Aston Martin is starting to struggle. It really is. Not making much time. Well, he actually is making quite a bit of time. Just not making the time quick enough. And he's got a car in there. Who's a lap car. Van Horn though, he was catching. He was quite a decent margin. Like, towards Versio. But now, Versio's managed to just pull away out of nowhere. 3 laps to go and there's an 8% difference between them. If Van Horn wants to get this race win, he's got to do something and he's got to do it quickly. And there we go. Like I said, he's got to do something, and he is doing something. 1 second the gap is. This is going to go into the final 2 laps here today in Baku for the lead in this race. And this could also possibly be a critical moment in the driver's standings. Van Horn will currently be second in the standings after this race, no matter where he finishes, first or second. But there we go, on to lap 50. Van Horn goes down the inside, and it's going to be on his rival Versio as we're getting to sunset now. In towards the second corner. Will the RB go for a move? No, but he's been forced to the horrible inside line. The sun glare will be really impairing his vision. But there we go. He's found the speed he needs. Now can he find the move he needs? And to go down the inside there. This is a move that could change the whole race. There we go. Versio down the inside. Van Horn around the outside. A car is suffering a mechanical fault. And there we go. Van Horn back up into the lead this race. But these two are not even able to secure a position because they're constantly fighting. Okay, I am ready for this. There go Van Horn stuck to the outside line there. Akari finally retiring. His very bad day has come to an end there. How are they side by side in the castle section? Explain to me that. Explain. How are they side by side there? And there we go. As we are now approaching the final sector of this racetrack. Van Horn is ahead. But he could so easily be behind onto this next lap. As we're going to be entering this final lap of the race. Who is going to be going out on top though? As we leave the final proper corner. Van Horn has had a better exit. And that's what he needs to try and secure this victory. We've got 1 final lap to go. And who is going to win this? There we go, half a second. The gap crumbling and crumbling as we are now onto the final lap of this race there. Versio down the inside. This is the move he needs to try and take the lead. This race he can't get it. He's failed to take the lead there. He's got 1 last real opportunity. Possibly 2 if the start finish straight is good enough for him. Well, there we go. DRS enabled. The Red Bull trying to get to the RB, but the gap is too much. The gap is too much, and Versio is looking to be the runner-up today. Unless something can happen. Van Horn needs to have a miracle here. He needs to pull out the biggest gap he can in this final lap before the start finish straight comes. Because that's when the race could so easily turn on its head and flip everything around. Of course, the pressure between these two is going to be at an all-time high. The rivalry is also going to be extremely intense as well. As we got yellow flag. Oh! Red flag! Red flag! And that seals it. The race is over. What has happened here? De Benedetto and SL24 out of this race, making a total roadblock. Not the way Verstappen would want this race to end. He would have still had one more chance realistically, but no. This has happened. And there you go, Blade Johnson, he's managed to be caught up into it. That is the end of your race here today.
Sometimes I think you just have to accept that it's not going to be your...
Of course, it's the last lap. We're not getting a replay of that, unfortunately. Wait, what's happened here? Oh, wait. So Verstappen is the winner. Okay, so the results were counted from the start of the final lap, in which Van Horn was not leading. Verstappen is your winner of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix by 600ths of a second. From Van Horn, your boy in third. Then Nicholas Palomino, Thierry Headley also does not get fifth, as of course he was behind on that lap. Elbow served in seventh from Vinaya Cadvano and Ocampo, who ran those points. They've got Amatilla, David Castro, Ultrabro, David Sarkiera, Gregorov, XL44, De Benedetto, and Lam Fong. They got Blade Sonic and Akari, who was out due to mechanical issues. And in the drivers, it's not what Van Horn hoped for. That win would have been his, most likely. But of course, rules are rules. It's gotta be, the race is gotta be classified for the lap before if the red flag is happening. On that final lap. Yeah, it looked like a miracle at first for Van Horn until you realise he was ever so slightly behind onto that last lap. Of course, official confirmation, Palomino down into third in the standings now. In the constructors, nothing's changed in positions. Red Bull expand their lead from RB, which is good, I guess. So yeah, we've got another race coming up soon. I hope you enjoy that one. Azerbaijan, it was pretty good, to be honest. That's round 9 done. With 3 more rounds to go. Only 1 more though in the stream, because it's a short stream that we got today. We got Qatar. See you in a couple minutes. Okay, we're back, and yep, we're ready for Qatar for the final race of the stream. And the final 2 races, they will be happening on a different day. Most likely Tuesday, which is in just a few days' time, obviously. But yeah, when I get home on Tuesday, I will stream the final 2 races of the season. But here we go, Qatar. Round 10 of the Formula 1 season in the Viewer Championship. Let's just see who takes pole here in Qatar for the race. So of course last race was decided unfortunately by the red flag, meaning it had been a lap before. Of course that did shift some results, as you will know. But here we go, starting grid, and it is Palomino on pole. Okay, wow. Verstappen has had an awful qualifying. His rival Van Horn up in second. Okay, not bad. Now Boxar in third from your boy. Of course, we've already mentioned Versio. Of course, Versio fifth. I got also Gogorov, Headley, Ocampo, Ultramro, Silla, Castro, Serkiera, Akari, Lamfong. Excellence 44 has a 10-place grid shop. I think that is engine changes and stuff. Bujang Sonic in 17th from Vinayak, Devendeo, and Eduardo. In one of these recommended strategies, 4 stops, what? Of course, this is with a car that's not even been touched at all.
The anticipation is really building here. The fans in attendance. We're about to get going here in Qatar. And it's lights out, and away we go.
Of course, today is a big day for Van Horn. He's got a good chance here to make some points in the driver standings. Same thing for Sauber. They've got him on the podium at the moment with P3 being Daniel Boxarov. But here we go off the front. It's a perfect getaway for Boxarov. He's up into P2 already on the start. What about P1? Nope, not a possibility. Van Horn down into 4th. Versteel's all the way up into 3rd. He's had another good getaway. And there we go into 2nd. However, Boxarov on the outside line in the Sauber. He's trying to get through up into 2nd, and he does that. It's a good start for Nicholas Palomino. A 2nd that he's leading by. Versteel, Boxarov, outstanding starts. That was amazing there by them two. Versteel from 5th to 3rd. Boxarov from 3rd to 2nd. Incredible stuff.
So let's take a look at the replay. So we're heading now into turn 5. The wheels just lock up there, and hopefully there's not too much damage to the tyres.
Oh, that was unfortunate. Not a way that you'd be wanting to lose some places there. Van Horn, though, the leading RB in the standings. He is only half a second away from Versteel. Of course, it's early on in the race. Anything can happen. By anything, I did not mean the RBs possibly swapping, which they've done. Van Horn has got no pace on the hards. The drivers ahead of him on softs and mediums. Softs and mediums, yeah. Obviously going to be doing a lot better. Palomino, oh!
It's the Red Bull driver. All good at this
Locked
point.
up at the last corner.
And there's the lockup. They took a gamble, and it was just too late.
And that there, extremely costly. Boxarov now leads for Sauber here in Qatar, just like in real life 2024, where Sauber miraculously scored points. Boxarov here in the Viewer Championship is now leading. Sauber and Qatar just have something which we can't explain. Of course, hards have the high tyre life. Soft and mediums have awful tyre life. That's one thing I can most certainly say about tyres here in Qatar. And your boy there, mechanical fault for him. Maybe it's time for the RBs to once again do another swap. As DRS should be activated for Van Horn soon. Yep, there it is. DRS is open. The RB will catch his other RB teammate. And there we go. And round the outside turn 1 possibly. Yep, nice move. Yeah, I just can't believe Sauber right now. They are doing so well, and honestly, you can't be proud of them. The unfortunate thing about this, though, is Boxarov's tyres are getting worn. Of course, worn tyres means you have to pit quicker. Pitting quicker means you're going to be stuck in traffic. So there's also some issues here. Your boy very clearly struggling with his issue. I don't know what the issue is with his RB, but something's went wrong and it's really affecting his pace. Ultra up in 4th. We know last time Ferrari was doing well, Belgium. BDS had the unfortunate issue and it spun, went straight into the wall, and was out of that race. And it was on the penultimate lap to make it even more painful for Ferrari. Now they've got Ultra in fourth. If something happens in front, they could be on the podium, and then the curse may end up repeating. Ocampo not doing too well this season with the Mercedes crew. He is now in 5th position though, which is pretty good. His teammate David Castro down in 12th position. So here we go, lap 9, we are on that now. Ocampo trying to get down the inside of Ultra. The Ferrari getting attacked by the Mercedes. They're 58% down on Bogdanov's tyres now. Tyres are not doing too well for him. Ultra also not doing well. His tyres are down. They're down on 48%. He's pushed them too much. Palomino's, of course, his lockups really affects him. He's down 30%. He's going to have to pit. I've got no doubts about it that he is going to have to come at the pits. Nicholas Palomino, end of this lap. And yep, there he is. He is into the pits. Now just what will Red Bull put their driver onto? It's soft to a set of mediums. Of course, looks like Palomino's perfect day. Of course, it went wrong with the lockup, and then of course pitting my dad made it even worse. No one wanted to have to make a pit stop like that. But there we go, out the pits comes Palomino, 13 seconds away from Dominic Vendetto, who has won once, who cost Van Horn the victory yesterday. Oh, not yesterday, last time out in Baku. And Bogdanov, he is managing his tyres really well. He's keeping a consistent gap to Versleo, while at the same time doing really good tyre management with his soft tyres. Of course, the bigger gaps he can pull out from the guys who were in the midfield and lower end of the field were stuck in fights, the better, because obviously they're stuck in fights. That's going to slow you down, naturally. Now we've got the two Williams guys swapping around there before. But yeah, look at this. Vasil's currently on 6/10 there on Bogdanov. His tyres are better as well, which doesn't really make any sense. I think Salvo just got a good kick here. As Vasil finally started to lock in a bit. He managed to close the gap down, then the gap's shot up again. Okay. Here we got Dave Saracchiara coming into the pit lane for Aston Martin. Now, what are they pitting him onto? As there are many drivers are going to pass by. Who is coming? I mean, who's coming into the pit spot? No. I mean, what tyres will Aston Martin put their driver onto? It's hard tyres for Dave Saracchiara. Probably the safe strat. If they have 2 sets of hards, I imagine a 2-stop will be possible. If not, it'll probably be 3 stops across the grid. Because even the hards don't seem to be lasting long. I thought earlier hards would be the way to go, but very clearly not. But also, looking at tyre life, I feel Bogdanov is now finally starting to use his softs towards the end of their life. Verstio's been serving a lot more than Van Horn. Van Horn is struggling on his hards. So it looks like the hards have a lot more potential than what they're showing across the grid. Because Verstio is on 52% on his mediums. Still. Which means in theory, if you do medium to hard, you can do a 1-stop. Your tyres will be cooked, but you can do a 1-stop. It is most certainly a possible thing that you can do. Ultra coming in the pit lane, he's got to do something really. Otherwise, he will be attacked. And there we go, coming in the pits. Soft to hard is the Ferrari of Ultra. Benaia coming in, he's going to get rid of his softs. And what is he going to go on to? Well, we'll have a little look, I guess. Yeah, that has pit lane took longer to get in than I thought. But yeah, it's mediums, not hards, which I thought were going to go on. But here we go, Ty Life is fighting against Boxarov. He's losing out on time now. But he's still going for one more lap. Most likely one more lap. But yeah, many people coming in the pits now. I guess this was a good way to avoid the mess of the pit lane. Yeah, 28%. These tyres can get a puncture any time now. Sauber have got to be careful with their strategy, because they do not want to bottle this. Now, 15 laps on softs is very impressive around here. Remember back in 2023, the limit was 18 laps. If you went any higher, you'd be disqualified. But there we go, Boxarov into the pit lane. Versio is going to pass by, and there we go. Versio leading the way with 43% mediums. Now look at that, mediums and hards all across the board, except for Lam Fong. He's went for a set of softs, which could theoretically get him to like lap 30, which would leave him quite open to the medium and hard option. There you go, many people are going to pass by. Well, I'm saying many people, only a few people really did. But he is still the net race leader of the race, so that is good for Boxarov. I guess he just had to wait really for everyone else to make a pit stop, otherwise he would have been stuck in a lot of traffic. Only traffic Boxarov is really going to be getting for now is Jensen Olsen. Hopefully for him it's not too much traffic that. Yellow flags out of Campbell locking up on turn 12. There you go, Boxarov needs to get a move on. And he's going to get a move on because there we go, he's up into 4th. And soon he should be on his teammate because look at the time gain here. Van Horn coming into pit lane. He's getting rid of his hards after only 18 laps. Okay. Here the RB slowly creeping towards his pit box. He's going on the softs, I think that is. No, it's hards. Once again, the red rim of the RB is tricking me. I go fast lap of the race for Ultra, who set that time on hard tyres. Bong has a mechanical fault there. Now Boxarov is still closing in on Grigorov. In fact, he should get DRS range very soon. It's 0.4 running around turn 4. Versio making his pit stop. He's made that stop on the softs. No DRS Boxarov, so that was a bit unfortunate for him. However, he's going to start close in. Versio and Olsen, they're pitting. Olsen don't know what he's going on to, but he's getting rid of his hards. Versio's moved on to soft, which is a bit of an interesting call. There we go, from hards to soft, okay. But it's an issue there. Olsen's been held up. Something's went horribly wrong there down at Aston Martin. As your boy gets a mechanical fault, well, a worse mechanical fault, shall I say. Anyways, there's 7 seconds that Boxarov has to play around with here. Grigorov finally coming into pits after serving his duty of just staying out in front, I guess. Now, what tyres has Sauber prepared for the Bulgarian driver? Well, we'll see as into the pits he comes, and it is soft tyres. Okay, so softs are still being used around the grid. That's more likely just to leave your medium hard option open towards the end of the race, or possibly try and get a little bit of track position to hop onto mediums or hards. That is most likely the reasoning of that strat. Now, of course, there is a tyre difference between the Red Bull of Versio and the Sauber Boxarov. Boxarov on mediums, Versio on softs. Soon, Versio's softs will get worse than Boxarov's mediums.
And yes, we have. We've
had
a crash. What happened there?
And so later, looks like they're fighting for Aston Martin. There we go, the two make contact there. I think that was the Aston Martin's fault for forcing him wide, but yet again, excuse could be like back down. BS didn't back down. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Investigation. It was also BS. No penalties given, so no investigation was necessary. Right now, your boys starting to close down the gap. However, tires are looking a little weird. As we have a little look here at car condition versus Theo, you can see he's losing around, what's that, 4% a lap, we'll say. Yeah, 4%. However, we go over to race leader Bogdasarov on tires that are more durable as well. He's losing 3%. Recently, though, it has been 5%, which is concerning, but he's finally started to slow down. Yeah, as the laps go by, Verstappen pulling that gap out in front, and he's just taking it down as the laps go by. Fast lap for Verstappen. This is crucial for him, as now finally he has caught Bogdasarov. But there we go, Bogdasarov, he's pulled away again. Okay. There is now a 5% difference between Bogdasarov and Verstappen. These two are definitely the ones to be looking out for today, though. Van Horn, he's had a disastrous race. And once again, pulling out is Bogdasarov. I have no clue how he's managed to hold on to the lead like this, but he's done it, and honestly, I am impressed by it. That is some incredibly good stuff. So you're on lap 27. Still not halfway through the race yet. I think we are now. Verstappen right on the outside of DRS here. Your boys' problems seem to be getting worse. The tires now separate by 1%. Now they're separated by nothing. So was Verstappen's little push just not worth it? Ultra coming in pits for Ferrari. He's getting rid of his tires. And same thing for Damian Castro. Now what about Palomino? He's staying out. Ultra coming in. Switch from hards to mediums. He's probably going to be doing one more stop, because it's just not possible to go to the end with the tires he's on right now. Anyone on softs will also probably be inclined to go to hards later on. Now, speaking of going on hards, that's probably going to be Palomino. He's down 29% with his mediums, which are very much wearing out. And, yep, he's in the pits. And he's pinned onto hards. Hards as expected, and Wano also coming in. Now what's going on to? We'll have a little look here. And it's softs for Wano. He's going to be making one more stop today. We can confirm that. Blitz like there around the outside of turn 1. Trying to get ahead of Wano. He just does it. He only just jumps to Williams. Meanwhile, the Salva still leads, which I'm still shocked about. If you're watching right now, I bet you'll also be shocked about this. And it's still a fast lap of this race. And you're going to look at the tyres. Verstappen's tyres now dipping 2% worse than Bogdasarov's. And they're also now below 30%. Bogdasarov and Verstappen both are going to be pitting this up, I think. Bogdasarov pits. Verstappen stays out. So once again, Bogdasarov preferring the undercut strategy. He's coming in. Now, hards, they should get him to the end of this race. But he could also go for an additional stop after this one by going soft or mediums and just doing another pit stop later on. Let's see, what is Sauber thinking? Are they thinking something good for Bogdasarov, which would be hards? Or are they going for something else? Well, no, they're playing it safe. They're going for hards. Aussie hards are the better choice considering they pretty much bagged the podium. Ultra, he's made a stop. Bogdasarov has not. Ultra still has another one to make. But Bogusarov, nonetheless, he is still ahead, which he will be most certainly happy about. The 20-second gap between them, it's going to be close on the exit at the moment. However, Steel's tires are wearing out a lot. Punctures can happen any time. 26%, he ain't risking it. He's in the pits, and he's lost around 2 seconds this lap to Daniel Bogusarov. So, as a result, Bogusarov in a very good position here to lead this Grand Prix. However, Verstio's tires are going to be better, and it is hard coming on for Verstio. Ego Van Horn leading the way now, 17.8 second gap now between Bogusarov and Van Horn. Of course, yeah, we can expect this. Bogusarov, he leads the way. Ultra ain't too far now from Bogusarov, however. His tires are worse than the Sauber's, so he's going to start a fallback. Verstio is currently 5 seconds back on Bogusarov, okay? I almost crushed my fingers in between the floor and my chair. Okay. That was weird. There we go, Ultra finally dropping a second from Bogusarov. Yellow flag's just out there momentarily. Don't know what was going on. So Eduardo is locked up on the 7th corner. Yeah, somehow Ultra putting up a good fight to Bogusarov. I'm very surprised though. Yeah, Verstio, he's struggling. His hards are not working well for him. Grigorov's softs are down at 25%, 24 now. Van Horn coming in the pits. 23% for Grigorov's tires. And yep, he comes in the pits. What is Van Horn coming in for? He's coming in for softs. More softs. No, they're mediums. They're mediums. I mean, they could go at the end. However, it's a risky thing. Now, Grigorov, his tires are absolutely done for. They're at 23%. So you're going to go for a medium tire. Okay, maybe it's now that time of race where mediums are the better thing to go for. Because, yeah, your boy has gone for mediums. Yellow flag, so what has gone on? It's in the first sector. I don't see anything wrong. It's a crash, okay. Ocampo on Eduardo, I think, possibly. Might be at Sills 44. No, yeah, it's Eduardo actually. But yeah, contact between the two. Ocampo getting a little too close there to Eduardo, and Olsen, I mean, not Olsen, Ocampo gets a penalty for causing a collision. Not too surprised about that one. Ultra finally falling off this race. He is going to be coming in the pit, so sometime soon. Also, it's been a very impressive drive from Ultra today in the Ferrari. He can do softs. Softs are now starting to become a possibility for him if he just holds off for a couple laps. I think he's trying to do that as well. It's the end of lap 42. There's Verstio. Verstio still not making the move just yet. Now, it is going to be a push on tyres for Verstio to get past Ultra, because this lap is a one where you can struggle to make overtakes. But there we go. A nice little move from Verstio to get ahead of Ultra. And now he can finally start carving down the gap, and yellow flags. BDS is starting to spin on turn 7. And you can see there, he's off the track.
And the rear just lets go. And that certainly wouldn't have been in their plans today.
That there, unfortunate for Ferrari having another issue. You're a fast lap of this race now. Sauber showing some incredible pace today, and I'm very surprised. I was pretty pleased. But yeah, 15 laps. Ultra can do that on softs. He is in the pits. And we've seen softs come out already before. Just are Ferrari thinking the same thing? Do they want to put their driver on softs? Just like what Bogusarov done to start this race. Well, yes, they do. He held out for a few laps, and there we go. It may end up paying out. As you can see in the track map here, I think Castro has a chance of getting ahead of Ultra Bro. Yeah, Castro's going to get ahead. No one else will, though. Ultra Bro will leave the pits in 6th position on some very good tyres. Castro will still be due to pit, so he shouldn't be too much worry for the Australian Colombian driver. Now still a 5-second lead out there for Bogusarov. He's only got like less than 1% worse tyres than Theo on the same compound, so pretty much Bogusarov just needs to drive cleanly to the end of this race, and he's pretty much got it in the bag. Now, of course, BDS is a lapped car, obviously unable to hold up Ultra Bro. Now, looking at the previous laps, yep, Ultra Bro, as expected, is starting to make some positions on Palomino, Van Horn, the guys ahead of him. Pretty much, I think Ultra Bro's goal here would be getting on the podium. 6.4 second gap for Bogusarov. He is extending that lead out in front. It's excellent to see. Vinayk's fault has just got worse. He's in 10th position. A fault going bad when you're just hanging on to the points is not good. I'm going to predict Olsen's going to get ahead. Olsen has got slightly worse tyres, but of course he's got no fault on the car. Castro coming in to get rid of his hard tyres, which were done for 23%. They would not make it to the end. He's coming in for soft tyres. Softs are probably the best bet now. Honestly, tire durability has surprised me. I know it's supposed to be bad around here, but it seems to be doing pretty well, actually, the tyres. And like I said, podium is not off for Ultra Bro. There we go, Palomino pits. Now, we're in the final sets of laps now. A Akari fast lap of the day here. And look at this. The time coming down every single lap that goes by. And it's over a second that time round. If this pattern continues on, with Ultra not losing too much pace, he could still be on for this podium. P4 is probably the most likely result though for him, sadly. I can see that finally he is losing time. It looks like Ferrari in a podium this season just won't be happening unless they have something occur to them in the final laps of this race. When the final 3 laps though, Bogusarov's lead is falling. It is still falling to Theo. However, it's just not falling enough to make a difference. Bogusarov finally pulling it out. And as we go at the final lap of this race, it is the Sauber leading the way from the Red Bull for lap Ferrari just behind. One Ferrari in 4th, the other in 20th. I can see here Blaze outside still trying to make some sort of difference. Oh! There's contact! On the final lap of the race! Bogusarov is out!
Now the
I think.
is involved in this one.
No! What has gone on? Final lap controversy, and this has absolutely cost the win for Bogusarov. There's terminal damage on the car. And what was he thinking? That is not how you unlap yourself. And first Theo, he's going to be going on to win this race. He's going to go on to win it. And just look at the severe damage on that car. I don't know what's going on there, but that is a lot of controversy. It's a 5-second time value for BDS, but that's not even going to affect him. And there we go. In unlikely circumstances, it will be Theo. He's going to take the win here in Qatar. But that was a very much robbed win for Bogusarov. He is going to be absolutely furious in the cockpit. Now, Bogusarov can't even hold on to P2. It looks like he might only just do it. He is going to be so sad. Absolutely gutted.
And it's a win for the Red Bull.
You can't say they didn't earn it. They put in an amazing performance today.
Out of all the times something could have went wrong for Bogdanov, it went wrong due to a back marker in 20th position. Honestly, that win should have went the way of Bogdanov. He's probably just speechless at the moment after what's happened. Sauber, they get a podium, but it's not something they can really celebrate. Because that would have been the win. It would have been the win, but it was a back marker trying to make a move in a place where you just wouldn't be making moves. Went for it. Ended up costing a team their first win in years. Honestly, what if that was planned by Ferrari? Ferrari could have so easily planned that to try and get him out the race. I mean, this is a bit of a conspiracy theory. But yeah, that is it. Qatar is done. Got some controversy though.
Sometimes I think you just have to accept.
And there we go, Versio wins from Bogdanov, who should have won that race. It was Taco Van Horn, Ultra, Davis Arquera, Nix Palomino, Ivan Grigorov, Devin Castro, Akari, Vinayak, Sebastian Capo, who only just missed out on points due to the penalty, Jensen Olsen, XL24, Amatsilla, Lam Fong, D. Redley, your boy, Dominic Mandel, Casamano, Blizzard Sonic, who had a penalty, but that just wasn't going to affect him at all. And that's it. Today's race is over, and for today in real life, racing is over in general. In the drivers, Versio extends the lead, which he shouldn't have done really. But into the final 2 rounds, he has got a 40-point advantage. He is likely to win it. And there we go, he's increasing the rating to 71. And there we go, also as well, Headley's went up to 71. I think that's about it for... Oh no, Axel's 24 up to 71 as well. And Wano also up to 71. And there we go. That ended off. And for the constructors, RB loses some points. Sauber should have won that race. Should have won that race. It would have also made them the highest scoring constructor this race as well, but I guess some things just weren't meant to be. But yeah, with that, we're done. I can't wait to see you next time for the final 2 rounds of the F1 Manager Viewer Championship. I hope you had a good day. Goodbye.